Welcome to School of the Lost Tribes Radio, where the Word speaks not to the world, but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Clarity helps generate the lessons needed to seal the chosen before the destruction. Proverbs 3:1-12, Covenant Wisdom for the Scattered Remnant. These opening verses are a father-to-son covenant lesson, not generic life advice for everybody, but Israel's house rules from Yahweh. When the tribes were scattered, we didn't just lose land, we lost memory of the law, the commandments, and the order of our nation. Proverbs 3 starts by calling Israel back to what makes us Israel, the covenant. The promises of life, peace, favor, and direction are tied to obedience and fear of Yahweh, not church feelings. This is Yahweh training his sons in captivity how to return to him, so we can inherit what belongs to Jacob again. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. Proverbs 3:1, KJV. This is covenant language. My law and my commandments are the terms Yahweh gave Israel. Forget not matters, because forgetting is what happens in captivity. Israel mixes with nations, absorbs idols, and loses the remembrance of the law. For the scattered tribes today, this verse is the wake-up call. Stop living like strangers and keep the commandments in the heart, meaning in the mind, choices, habits, and loyalty, because that's how Israel returns to her Father. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Proverbs 3:2, KJV. This is not random good luck. This is the covenant benefit. Obedience produces stability, protection, and order in Israel's life. Peace here is covenant well-being. When Israel walks in Yahweh's ways, we avoid many curses that come from rebellion and lawlessness. Even in captivity, Yahweh gives his remnant a measure of preservation when they return to his instructions, because he's preparing a people to inherit the coming kingdom. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. Proverbs 3:3, KJV. Mercy and truth are the traits Yahweh builds into his covenant people so we can reflect his rulership. Binding it about thy neck means it should be visible. Your identity should show. Writing it upon the table of thine heart means internalizing it so it becomes natural. Scattered Israel must learn this because captivity teaches cruelty, survival mode, and deceit. But Yahweh is restoring Israel's lawful character for the promises. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Proverbs 3:4, KJV. When Israel returns to covenant mercy and truth, Yahweh grants favor, meaning openings, protection, and positioning, even among nations. Good understanding is discernment, knowing how to move wisely while surrounded by captivity systems. This is part of the remnant's restoration. Yahweh equips his people to navigate oppression without losing covenant integrity until the time of full deliverance. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Proverbs 3:5, KJV. This is Israel learning not to rely on the logic of captivity. Our own understanding is often trained by the world system, its philosophies, religions, and fears. Yahweh is telling his sons, return to his counsel, not the nations. Trust is covenant loyalty, believing Yahweh's promises to Israel, even when circumstances look opposite. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3:6, KJV. Acknowledging Yahweh means bringing every part of life under covenant rule: family, money, relationships, decisions, speech, discipline, everything. When Israel does that, Yahweh directs thy paths, meaning he guides the remnant away from traps, wrong alliances, and self-destruction. This is how the scattered get led back toward restoration, step by step, until the regathering. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. Proverbs 3:7, KJV. Captivity produces pride. Everyone thinks they're right. Everyone makes their own rules. Yahweh commands Israel to reject self-wisdom and return to fear, reverence, and obedience. Depart from evil is practical. Stop the sinful patterns that keep Israel under judgment. This is the remnant mentality, humble, teachable, returning to covenant order. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Proverbs 3:8, KJV. Covenant obedience affects the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. Navel and bones point to the inward strength of life. When Israel stops living in stress, sin, and confusion and comes back to Yahweh's ways, it produces stability and healing. Even while scattered, Yahweh strengthens his remnant so they can endure until redemption. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. Proverbs 3:9, KJV. This is covenant economics. Israel honors Yahweh first. Substance and first fruits means the best portion belongs to him, because everything we have is under his covenant ownership. In captivity, Israel is trained to serve the system first, but the remnant learns to put Yahweh first in resources, priorities, and stewardship, preparing for righteous kingdom order. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. Proverbs 3:10, KJV. This is the covenant promise of increase tied to honoring Yahweh. It also echoes Israel's agricultural blessings, the language of inheritance and land. Even scattered, Yahweh can provide and multiply for his obedient remnant. But prophetically, this also points to the restored nation, where Israel will again enjoy abundance under Yahweh's rule, not under captivity. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. Proverbs 3:11, KJV. Israel's suffering isn't random. Much of it is chastening from covenant violation. The key is not to despise correction or get tired of it. The remnant must understand, Yahweh is not done with Israel. He corrects because he's restoring. Captivity is a furnace, but it's also a classroom for the returning son. For whom the Lord loveth he correcteth, even as a father, the son in whom he delighteth. Proverbs 3:12, KJV. This seals the point. Correction proves sonship. Yahweh does not chastise strangers like he chastises his sons. Israel is the nation he deals with as a father. For the scattered tribes, this is reassurance. Our discipline is connected to covenant love and future inheritance. Yahweh is shaping a remnant fit for the promises. So when Yahweh Shai establishes the kingdom, Israel will be ready to stand as a restored people under righteous rule. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Proverbs 3:15, KJV. Her is wisdom, and for Israel that wisdom is covenant wisdom, Yahweh's law, judgments, and understanding. In captivity, we're trained to desire money, status, and survival, but this verse flips it. Nothing you can chase in Babylon compares to the value of returning to Yahweh's ways. Wisdom is the remnant's true wealth because it leads back to Israel's inheritance. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Proverbs 3:16, KJV. Yahweh ties blessings to obedience. The length of days and riches and honor are covenant benefits, what Israel was promised when walking uprightly. Even while scattered, Yahweh can preserve, elevate, and provide for his remnant. And ultimately, these words point to the kingdom, where Israel will receive honor among the nations under Yahweh Shai. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Proverbs 3:17, KJV. Wisdom's ways are not chaos and confusion like captivity living. Yahweh's order brings stability, peace in the home, peace in the mind, peace in how we move. For scattered Israel, this is the contrast. Babylon gives stress and disorder, but covenant walking produces the peace of a people returning to their Maker. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her. and happy is everyone that retaineth her. Proverbs 3:18, KJV. Wisdom is called a tree of life because it restores what was lost: life, direction, and hope. Israel lost access to life through sin and disobedience, but laying hold on wisdom means grabbing covenant truth and not letting it go. Happy here is blessed. Israel is blessed when we retain the covenant and refuse to let captivity steal it again. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth. By understanding hath he established the heavens. Proverbs 3:19, KJV. This shows wisdom isn't a trend or opinion. It's how Yahweh built reality. So when Israel follows wisdom, we're aligning with the Creator's order. That's why covenant obedience works. It matches the way Yahweh set things up from the beginning, and it prepares Israel to rule in righteousness when the kingdom is established. By his knowledge, the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew. Proverbs 3:20, KJV. Yahweh's knowledge governs creation: rain, dew, seasons, provision. That's a reminder to Israel. The one who controls the deep and the skies can also open doors, provide bread, and deliver in captivity. The remnant doesn't rely on Babylon's system. We rely on Yahweh, who can supply in ways nations can't predict. My son, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. Proverbs 3:21, KJV. Israel is commanded to keep wisdom in sight, meaning constant focus. In scattering, distractions are weapons: entertainment, false doctrine, fear, and idolatry. Sound wisdom and discretion is how the remnant survives spiritually. Staying alert, moving wisely, and keeping covenant perspective as the world shifts. So shall they be life unto thy soul, and grace to thy neck. Proverbs 3:22, KJV. Wisdom brings life to the soul, meaning it revives Israel inwardly, not just outwardly. Grace to thy neck shows it becomes visible identity and honor. When the remnant walks in Yahweh's wisdom, it shows our speech, conduct, and discipline reflect that we belong to the covenant people. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. Proverbs 3:23, KJV. This is covenant protection and guidance. Israel's stumble often comes from spiritual traps, sin, bad alliances, wrong counsel, and false doctrine. Wisdom steadies the remnant so we don't fall into snares set by the oppressor system, and it keeps us on course toward restoration. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Proverbs 3:24, KJV. Fear is a captivity tool, but Yahweh promises rest to his obedient remnant. Sweet sleep means peace of conscience and trust in Yahweh's covering. Israel can rest when walking uprightly because we know we're not fighting alone. We're under covenant oversight. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. Proverbs 3:25, KJV. This speaks directly to the last days: shocks, collapse, judgment, and fear panic. The remnant is told not to fear when desolation hits the wicked system. Why? Because Israel's hope is not tied to Babylon's stability. Yahweh already warned us these things would come, and he is separating his servants from the coming terror. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Proverbs 3:26, KJV. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's covenant assurance. Yahweh keeps Israel from being taken, meaning trapped, snared, swallowed by fear, or destroyed by wicked devices. For scattered Israel, this is spiritual footing. Yahweh steadies his remnant, so we don't get pulled back into the same bondage mentally, morally, or doctrinally. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Proverbs 3:27, KJV. Covenant people must practice covenant righteousness. To whom it is due starts with Israel's responsibility to do right, especially toward the household, the needy, and those under oppression. In scattering, Yahweh still expects his people to live by righteous judgment, showing the character of the kingdom we're being prepared for. Say not unto thy neighbor, Go, and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee. Proverbs 3:28, KJV. This condemns delaying righteous help when you're able to do it now. Israel's law is not stingy. It's discipline, generosity, and justice. The remnant must not mirror Babylon's selfishness. We move with urgency in righteousness because we know we're being judged as Yahweh's people. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. Proverbs 3:29, KJV. This is covenant ethics. Don't betray trust. Captivity breeds treachery, hustle culture, and snake behavior, but Israel is commanded to be just. Yahweh is rebuilding a nation mindset, people who can live together in safety, because the kingdom requires trustworthy brothers and sisters. Strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm. Proverbs 3:30, KJV. The remnant must not be quick to conflict, especially over pride. Israel's strength is not in needless strife. It's in order, discipline, and righteousness. Unjust arguments bring trouble and open doors to sin. Wisdom teaches Israel when to speak, when to hold peace, and when to move with understanding. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Proverbs 3:31, KJV. This is a major captivity warning. The oppressor's wealth, power, and lifestyle can look attractive, but Yahweh says, don't envy it and don't copy it. Israel is not called to become Babylon successful. We're called to be covenant faithful. Choosing the oppressor's ways leads to the oppressor's judgment. For the froward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. Proverbs 3:32, KJV. The froward is the crooked, twisting truth, perverting judgment, living deceitfully. Yahweh rejects that spirit, but he shares his secret with the righteous, meaning understanding, discernment, prophecy, and counsel. The remnant receives insight because Yahweh reveals his plans to his covenant servants who fear him. The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just. Proverbs 3:33, KJV. This is covenant reality. Wickedness invites curse. Righteousness invites blessing. Even in captivity, houses can be cursed, confusion, poverty traps, constant loss, because of rebellion. But the just receive blessing, protection, provision, order, because Yahweh is marking his remnant for preservation and future inheritance. Surely he scorneth the scorners, but he giveth grace unto the lowly. Proverbs 3:34, KJV. The scorners mock righteousness and despise correction. This is the spirit of the world. Yahweh resists that, but he gives grace to the lowly, the humble remnant willing to be taught, corrected, and restored. That humility is how Israel rises again, not by pride, but by returning to Yahweh's discipline. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools. Proverbs 3:35, KJV. Inherit is key. This is Israel's language. Wisdom leads to inheritance, honor, rulership, and restored dignity in the kingdom. But fools, those who reject Yahweh's commandments, inherit shame. The world may promote fools for a season, but Yahweh's judgment flips it. Covenant wisdom is what carries Israel into lasting glory.